When things are hard on us, okay, so when things are hard on us, with an emphasis on the words on us, hard on us, our perceived limits draw closer. When things are hard for us, emphasis on for us, our limits expand. Choosing to do hard things expands what we think is possible.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Carrot Cast. Now, the Carrot Cast, we're usually diving in doing interviews with amazing real estate investors, amazing real estate agents. Now, in these episodes, every Thursday, they're the Trevor Truck Talks, where you get to hear behind the scenes of the mindset shifts I'm going through as a CEO of one of the fastest growing companies in America, and the mindset shifts you can take to run your business and win back your freedom as well. Let's dive into this episode.
What's up, y'all? Heading to office right now. Early in the morning, we're actually getting ready to head out on a little vacation in the summer. So I'm recording this at the time I'm recording this. It's July. And every July, number one, it's my birthday. Number two, we head down to the family lake cabin at a lake in Southern Oregon. And we always spend 4th of July there. At least we have the past few years. We're going to keep that trend going because it's been an amazing thing for our family, and we've absolutely loved it. So just got back from that, and now we're heading on a trip in a few days to a bunch of national parks, actually. Yellowstone, the Tetons, Moon Crater National Monument, I think, in Idaho, and I think there's one other one. We're doing it with one of our best friends, and that family we do trips with every single year, a couple trips a year with. Went to college with them. We were in each other's weddings, and just absolutely love that family. So we're getting ready to head out. And what I'm teaching you right now in this Trevor Truck Talk, so this is an episode from the Life Truths episode. Before I dig into this life truth called stretching your limits, it's a life truth that I came up with, just kind of in my own learnings, in my own journey as an entrepreneur and just as a human being. I'm almost 40. I just turned 39 a couple days ago. And so, I don't know. I've never had this big milestone birthday. I didn't think 30 was a big deal for me. The 30s were amazing. My 30s were amazing. And what I've heard in the past is, your 20s, you're trying to figure things out. Your 30s are kind of like your empire building decade. It's your empire building decade. Your 40s are the time to expand the empire or enjoy it, right? And then your 50s and 60s and stuff are kind of the full-on enjoyment, the enjoyment years. But where billionaires are made tends to be in the 40s. You're going to see some exceptions, whether it's in their 20s or 30s where they blew up a tech company or something like that. But usually the billionaires are made in the 40s and 50s because they take the momentum from their 30s where they figured out how to do business as an entrepreneur and how to scale something. Maybe had their first initial scale, and then things grew. As an example, I was looking at a graphic with Warren Buffett's net worth over time. And his net worth over time, he was never a billionaire until I think he was in his 50s. And then once he hit his 50s, the things just started to compound. And they always talk about compounding. And so one of the big things I'm going to be talking about in this episode of Stretching Your Limits, is really talking about on your growth as an entrepreneur and on your growth as a human being, there are going to be things that stretch our limits. And the key is, how do we look at those things? So I'm going to read this life truth, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an update at the end on the house wholesaling. I haven't really been talking about this in the podcast yet. I've been talking about it a little bit on Instagram, so follow me on IG, y'all. But I started wholesaling houses, and 100% using Carrot software, not using any other marketing other than through Carrot. And we did $56,000 in wholesale fees our very first month. Like, that's cash in the bank. In July, we're on pace to do over $100,000 in wholesale fees. That's the third month in business. And so we're less than 90 days in, y'all, and we're going to be $160,000, $170,000 deep in wholesale fees already in one market. And so I'm going to start teaching you guys what I'm doing, okay? I'll talk about it a little bit at the end of this podcast and what we're going to be doing, teaching you guys exactly how we're doing it. But stretching your limits. So let me read this life truth to y'all, okay? Stretching your limits. When things are hard on us, okay, so when things are hard on us, with an emphasis on the words on us, hard on us, our perceived limits draw closer. When things are hard for us, emphasis on for us, our limits expand. Choosing to do hard things expands what we think is possible. Okay, so stretching your limits. When things are hard on us versus hard for us, our limits draw near. They actually contract. Our limits become smaller. We can't stand the pressure when we perceive whatever is being hard as hard on us. I remember there's this guy, I think they called him the small giant, but his name was Sean Stevenson. And he's just such an amazing guy. I had a chance to meet him in San Diego years and years back, probably in 2010. And he turned into a motivational speaker. In his situation, he was born, I think he was 2.5, 3 feet tall. He had some sort of dysplasia, syndrome. He really couldn't walk by the time he became an adult. His mind was perfectly amazing. He was a brilliant thinker, but his body just wasn't there. And for years and years and years, he was letting things be hard on him. Hey, why was I the guy that was born with this dysplasia and I'm 2.5 to 3 feet tall, and the doctors say I'm probably not going to live past 25 to 30 years old? Why was this done to me, right? And then he started to shift his mindset, because he would be at parties or events or whatever it is, and he would be the crippled guy over in the corner in a wheelchair, and he'd be feeling sorry for himself, and he would always be thinking, shoot, everyone around me must be thinking I'm a freak, right? And those are the words that he used in his speech. I actually had a chance to meet him twice. And he said one day things just kind of flipped on him. He just said, what if I just treated this not as something that was done to me, but what if I treated this as something that was done for me? What if this dysplasia, what if this syndrome that I have was actually done for me, and I can actually use it for my good and use it for other people's good and use it for the glory of other people other than me? What if it's not something I have to feel sorry about? What if it's something I can be grateful about? What if this was done for me, not to me? And so he immediately started to shift around. He started to go, well, what if rather than being tucked in the corner, assuming everyone's kind of looking at me like a freak, what if I just get out there and be the center of attention? What if I just be the center of attention? What if I have fun? What if I'm the guy? What if I'm the life of the party all of a sudden? What if I just go out there and don't care all what people think about me, and I emphasize, the physical difference that I have in other people versus other people, and I make that my thing? What if I go out there and start to speak about how I'm living life and how I've flipped that mental script? And so he did. He went out there and became one of the biggest motivational speakers, speaking on stages with Tony Robbins, speaking on stages with other amazing people, and really changing tons of people's lives. He's highly motivational. And then it was about 3 years ago or so, I remember he married a gal who actually, he met at an event, and she's an amazing gal, beautiful guy. I had a chance to meet Mindy once. They got married, and it was a handful of years ago that I remember hearing from one of our mutual friends that Sean had passed away. I was going, man, what happened? And I guess he had fallen down, and he had hit his head on something. And man, this just like it got me emotional when I heard about it. And every single time I talk about it, it kind of gets me as well. Is even to, his deathbed, after he hit his head and he was, laying there, his wife came up to him and they were talking, and he said, babe, this wasn't done to me. He said, it was done for me. It's like, geez, someone in that situation where he had physical issues, physical limits that were placed on him, that he was able to shift his mindset from that limit, the stretching those limits, from that trial, from that thing he originally didn't want. He was saying, this was done to me. Why was this done to me? And he flipped it and said, this is actually done for me. And he changed his life. He changed the lives of hundreds of thousands of other people using his story, using his physical limit to actually grow the limits of hundreds of thousands of other people. And like I said, he took that mindset all the way to the end. You know, me falling and hitting my head wasn't done to me, it was done for me. And it's hard, right? It's hard to think about the limits that we're experiencing, the trials that we're experiencing sometimes as good. Even going to the Bible, when you think about the Bible, you know, there's First James that talks about counting all trials as joy. And that the testing of your faith in those moments that, man, I'm going to make it through this, man, you know, in that case, faith in God, faith in Jesus, right? But it's faith in that you're going to make it through it. Faith in that there is something better for you on the other side. Faith in that there's something better for other people around you on the other side of the trial. Faith in that limit that you're hitting or perceiving to hit is actually temporary, that limit doesn't have to be a limit. That limit is just placed in front of you purposefully to be a trial to see how you react. And that's something that, you know, that lately I've definitely had to think about. It doesn't stop, y'all. It doesn't stop. You know, when your income passes 100 grand a year, right? You think, man, I busted through that huge limit before that I thought was there. And now you go, oh, shoot, there's a new limit. Now, a new limit is this mental barrier, and everything else that makes you feel that it's going to be hard now to get to whatever that next number is, $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, okay, $100,000 a month. Okay, you go, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get to that? There's all these limits. There's all these reasons why I can't get to it. I don't have access to this. I don't have access to that. I don't have the time. I've still got a job. Like, people come up with all of these limits that aren't real. Okay, these things that are done to us rather than done for us for learning lessons, rather than done for us so we can grow, rather than done for us so we can learn the things that are going to make us stronger so we can actually capture the opportunity in the next limit. Okay, you hit $1 million a month, guys, it doesn't stop. It's like, oh, shoot, you know, now there's a limit. How the heck am I ever going to hit $2 million a month? Does that number matter? No, it doesn't. Other than it's there and it signifies growth. If we're able to hit that, growth is good. You know, we talked about it in a previous episode with something called the gap. Having a gap is healthy. Having a gap is always good. Go back and listen to that episode, why the gap is critical to growth. Okay? But here's the deal. I want you guys and gals to look at what right now in your lives and in your businesses, you're placing limits on yourselves and in lowering what you believe that you can achieve. Because if you're placing a limit and you're thinking, man, this thing was done to me, you know, why is it that my situation and my upbringing was done to me that's putting me at an advantage? If that's the case, going back to this quote, or I'm sorry, a disadvantage. Going back to this quote, it says, when things are hard on us, the perceived limits draw closer. When someone is hard on you, when your parents are hard on you, when your spouse is hard on you, your business partner is hard on you, when business is hard on you, when your customers are hard on you, you know, you can go on down and down the line. When things are hard on us, our limits draw closer. We don't believe that we can achieve things bigger. But as soon as you flip that script, y'all, to say, okay, this was actually not hard on me, it's hard for me. This wasn't done to me, this was done for me. Okay, this trial isn't something that I should look at as just all bad. This trial is actually something that I should count as joy. Because when I remain steadfast through that trial, and I have faith that things will change, and I have faith that I can have a bigger future, you will be rewarded with a bigger future. All right, so I'm thinking about this front and center because I'm going through trials right now. I'm going through things that are making me stretch my limits. You know, it's not easy to grow a business past 45, 50 employees, which is where we are right now. And we have some things that we're working through, some growing pains. And there's some days I wake up, I'm like, man, I don't want to go to work, which isn't fun, right? I'm not going to say it's most days, but there's some days. I'm like, man, I just don't want to go to work because sometimes I don't know the answers. But that right there is the trial for me. That right there is the answer. That right there is the limit, is I've always been able to have the answers up to this point. I've always been able to have the answers that have helped me get, to the 8 figures a year and now growing what we think is going to become another $1 million business on the side in less than an hour a week with a business partner on the wholesaling side. Okay. So that limit there was huge 10 years ago. There's no way I could have ever dreamt of, netting my half of that business, netting $500,000 a year in less than an hour a week. There's no way I could have dreamt that because my limits were too near. Okay. I didn't know what I didn't know. And now those limits are bigger because I see what's possible. I know what I know now. And we're going to teach you guys what we're doing as well in a YouTube series. And we're going to start to teach it to you guys in our weekly coaching calls at Carrot. We're going to show you guys everything I'm doing step by step. I'll show you everything, like literally everything, and how we've created, multiple $100,000 profit business already. And we're hoping it's going to be $1 million in the first year. We'll see. Maybe not. Definitely will be over $500,000 though. But those are limits before. And now I've got limits right now. I'm going, okay, man, I can't come up with every answer myself. So my limit is how do I build a leadership team, the right leadership team, to be able to have those answers, to be able to be great leaders for their team members so they can bring amazing team members in that have the answers, that create the answers, that drive the business forward. How do I get out of the way? Right? Before I was the driver of the business. Now I'm like, shoot, I need to get out of the way. I need to be a facilitator of all of their success, of all of their amazing brain power. And that's my next limit. It's like, oh, shoot, am I capable of this? Which I know that I am, right? And then I say, okay, so the trials we're going through in the business, these weren't done to me. These were done for me because now I have a chance to learn how to grow through this phase. I have a chance, I get a chance to learn how to grow through this phase of the business and grow through those difficult situations, grow through those difficult people situations, having to make really difficult decisions about people who have worked at Carrot for a very long time. Those things aren't easy. So I'm going to finish it with this. I'm going to reread this life truth, and I want to challenge you to think about where your limits are. Stretching your limits. When things are hard on us, our perceived limits draw closer. When things are hard for us, our limits expand. Choosing to do hard things expands what you think is possible. All right, guys. So are you guys choosing to do the hard things or the easy things? Are you choosing to pick up that shirt that you threw on the ground and get it in the hamper or fold it or whatever it is? Or are you choosing to walk by it and say, I'll pick it up later? Are you choosing to wake up early at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, whatever you need to do the hard work, even though you don't want to do it in that time? Or are you choosing to hit the snooze button and sleep in because it's comfy? Are you choosing to keep a mediocre employee around that's making your job harder and you can't train them up and making everyone else's job harder around them? Or are you choosing to make the hard decision and really love on them and coach them? And if they can't get to that spot, let them go and bring someone else in who can thrive? Are you choosing to just research and never take full action because you feel that you need to know everything? And the actual real things you should do is talk to people, talk to sellers, start a Google Ads campaign, launch a Carrot site, spend some time dialing in the Carrot site, do the work, carve out the 1, 2, 3 hours a day the first 60 days in Carrot, do the work, show up to the coaching calls, do the hard thing. Are you choosing to make excuses because you have a full-time job still and you're emailing me saying, Trevor, how can I ever make this happen because I have a full-time job? Guys, that's an excuse. Okay, that's an excuse. It has nothing to do with you having a full-time job. It has everything to do with you not carving out the time and cutting out the things that actually don't matter, cutting out TV, cutting out Netflix, cutting out whatever you need to cut out in order to actually have the time to get the focus to do the thing that you say that you want to do, but you're not actually doing. All right, guys, do the hard things. Your limits expand. You guys have an amazing, amazing rest of the week. If you like these Trevor Truck Talks, if you like these Life Truth episodes that come out in the back part of every single week, hit me up on IG, y'all. Trevor.Mauch. That's M-A-U-C-H, Trevor.Mauch. And let me know what your favorite Life Truth has been so far. Let me know what your favorite episode has been so far, so we can keep doing more of these. I've got another 40, 50 life truths that are going to come out over the coming years. And they're probably never going to end because I keep on adding life truths to it. And frankly, for me, this is so I can document these life truths for my kids. I mean, really, that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing it so I can document these life truths for my kids and pass them along. And you guys and gals hopefully get the benefit of hearing them as well. And hopefully one or two kind of stick with you and give you a different perspective, different outlook on life. Hit the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever the heck you're actually listening to this podcast, and share this up with one friend. Is there somebody that you know? Is there people on Facebook? Is there a Facebook group that you frequent that you know? It's like, you know what? Someone needs to hear this message. Someone needs to hear this message because they're going through a hard time, because they're complaining all the time about how this thing was done to them instead of for them. And they really need to hear this. I encourage you to share this with them right now while you're thinking about it. Hit them with a quick little note and just appreciate them and say, you might get a lot of value out of this. It was a great mental mindset shift for me. All right, guys, keep an eye out for the content series we're going to be doing over the coming months about how we've started a multiple six-figure per year business. In July, it should be a six-figure month in just month 3. 100% using Carrot, y'all. We're going to start doing content on that and showing you guys exactly what we're doing. I actually partnered with a client who was going to go to a custom site. We said, man, the custom site's not the problem, dude. You're actually going to get better performance from Carrot versus your custom site. It's going to load faster. You're going to get all the benefits of our content marketing tools. You're going to get the benefits of our support. You're going to get the benefits of any of our conversion testing we're doing, baking into that. You're going to get those benefits. The problem is your ads campaign is just not being ran correctly. So we took it over and I said, hey, we're actually just going to go into business together. He said the same thing. We dove into business together, cranked out $56K in cash in the bank in the first month. A couple of the other deals took a little bit longer. And now we have a six-figure month coming up in month 3. Guys, all we changed was the approach, okay? The Carrot platform actually got him better performance. Now all that we changed is the approach. He started to get a #1 ranking in Google because we just implemented a few things. We did some backlink building, made a couple adjustments that we teach you guys and gals in our 3 lead per day training. We teach it to you guys. We teach it included in your plan in a $99 a month plan, the Content Pro plan and above, in our weekly coaching calls. We teach those things. Okay, so I just want you guys to dig into our resources because every single thing, if you're a Carrot customer in the Content Pro plan or above, the $99 a month plan or above, you get access to so much free training that you have no excuse to not succeed. And so we're going to give you even more free training, walking you through exactly what we're doing to create what we hope is a 7-figure wholesaling business in year 1, but for sure we'll do well over $500,000. Okay, so guys, check it out. Go to YouTube, find me, Carrot, Investor Carrot, over on YouTube. It's going to work for agents and investors. Subscribe over there so you're the first one to see those videos as they pop up there. I'm going to head into the office for an amazing day of content, more podcasts, and some one-on-ones with my team. All right, guys, have an amazing rest of the week. Stretch those limits. The things that you're going through right now are done for you, not to you. All right, talk soon.